Hello dear followers of my channel Hype Celebs, welcome to my channel. Çiğdem, who blamed Hande for Kerem's heart attack, expelled Hande from the hospital. All the details are in my news. Before moving on to my news, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications and hit the like button. Stay tuned to my channel. The famous actor Kerem, who has recently been on the agenda with his private life, was hospitalized after suffering a heart attack. However, the events that emerged after this dramatic incident had a huge impact on both social media and the magazine world. The tense moments Bersen's family and loved ones experienced immediately after being taken to the hospital attracted attention. However, the biggest shock came to Kerem's mother, Çiğdem. Hande was at the center of the incident. Kerem had entered a period in which his workload had increased, and he was struggling with difficulties in his private life in recent months. However, no one knew that the famous actor would find himself in such a predicament and suffer a heart attack. Kerem suddenly felt unwell in the morning and was taken to the hospital. As everyone around him rushed to the hospital in panic, initial findings indicated that Kerem's heart attack was largely caused by stress. What happened in the hospital room where Kerem was after being taken to the hospital gave rise to another scandal. Kerem's mother, Çiğdem, blamed Hande and kicked her out of the hospital room. The reason for Çiğdem Hanım's accusation against Hande was that the relationship between Hande and Kerem had recently become strained. Hande was very concerned about Kerem's health problems and took her place at Kerem's bedside as soon as he arrived at the hospital. However, Çiğdem did not approve of Hande entering the room. A few weeks ago, Çiğdem Hanım claimed that Hande was increasing the stress in Kerem's life and was not providing him with healthy support. In Çiğdem Hanım's eyes, tensions between Hande and Kerem after their relationship ended played a major role in Kerem's heart attack. Çiğdem made it clear that he did not want to see Hande in the hospital room. "I shouldn't be here," he said and took Ursula outside. Hande left the room surprised by this statement and did not know what to do. After Kerem's mother fired Hande, a huge debate began on social media. Although many people harshly criticized Çiğdem's behavior, some argued that Çiğdem Hanım understood Kerem's concern for his health and that he was only acting out of protective instinct. The tension between Kerem's family did not go unnoticed by his close circle and celebrities. While Kerem's close friends tried to calm the tension between Hande and Çiğdem to prevent the situation from getting worse, the incident quickly spread on social media. Comments about how worried Hande was about Kerem's health and how much she regretted this matter became a topic of discussion among the public in a complex way. On the other hand, Kerem's condition is no longer critical and his health status has become stable. After this incident, curiosity arose whether Hande and Kerem would get back together. Çiğdem's attitude seems to put even more strain on the relationship between the two. Kerem's heart attack marks a major turning point in both his health and that of his family. The future of the relationship between Hande and Kerem may undergo a major change, especially under the influence of Çiğdem. Although Kerem's recovery is the priority for now, it is certain that this incident will be much more on the agenda in the coming days. The tension between Hande and Çiğdem is causing many comments on social media, and it is eagerly awaited how the two will continue their relationship. All of these events teach an important lesson about how celebrities must protect both their private lives and their health. This crisis that Kerem is experiencing can be a turning point not only in terms of health but also with regard to family ties and the dynamics of relationships. Kerem and Hande, who have become one of the most popular on-screen couples in recent years, have often been on the agenda with the ups and downs of their private lives. However, a recent incident has once again attracted all the attention. Kerem suffered a heart attack last week and was rushed to hospital. But what happened after the incident created a shock effect in the magazine world. Immediately after Kerem was taken to the hospital, the reactions of his mother, Çiğdem, made the couple the topic of discussion again. Çiğdem caused a moment of great tension in the hospital. That tension ended when Hande was kicked out of the hospital room. Kerem's health has evolved very differently from the statements he made in previous days. Kerem, who had been going through a very stressful period recently due to his workload, suddenly became ill and was taken to the hospital. The famous actor, who suddenly fell ill during the morning, was rushed to the hospital by his relatives after they realized he was suffering a heart attack. Although they provided first aid at the hospital, Kerem's condition was critical. Doctors claimed that Kerem's heart attack was largely caused by extreme stress and fatigue. The famous actor, who in recent months has been struggling with projects and experiencing some difficulties in his private life, has been trying to deal with this stress for a long time. After his health condition stabilized, Kerem was kept under observation in the hospital for a few days. Immediately after Kerem was taken to the hospital, the main theme of the incident became clear. Although Kerem's health condition was stable, Çiğdem's attitude caused great controversy. Çiğdem was very distressed by her son's illness. But on the other hand, I definitely didn't want Hande to be in the hospital. Çiğdem began to blame Hande after the relationship between Hande and Kerem ended. Ms. Çiğdem argued that Hande was one of the factors that increased the stress in Kerem's life. She claimed that Hande did not provide enough support to Kerem and, on the contrary, Kerem became even more upset and stressed after the end of the relationship. On the day Kerem was in the hospital, while Çiğdem was with his son, the tension increased even more when Hande arrived at the hospital room. Hande arrived at the hospital wishing Kerem's recovery. However, Çiğdem became disturbed by Hande's presence in the room and ordered the hospital staff to remove Hande from the room. Çiğdem said, "I shouldn't be here." He kicked Hande out of the hospital, saying, "He's done enough damage, he has to go now." Hande was very surprised by Çiğdem's harsh reaction. At that moment, Hande, who was already very concerned about Kerem's health, did not know what to do about her mother's attitude. Ursel, with tears in his eyes, remained silent for a while, trying to understand the situation. However, Hande faced Çiğdem's firm and tough attitude and had to leave the hospital room. I have reached the end of my news. I hope to meet you in new videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye bye. Stay with us. Alpha.